So, Horatio, how exactly did you come back in time?
I have time, and I'm a machine.
Oh, so you put two and two together, right?
Simple math.
So yeah, we're versing the Russians, they're advancing.
Then I guess it's time to give Suvorov a souvenir.
That guy's been dead for a while now.
Then I guess his burial ground is in grave danger. Yeah!
I'm sorry, but you didn't see me put on my glasses, did you? Sorry, no.
Because there's no yeah until I say yeah. Oh yeah!
Cool story. The Russians?
What is the rush?
Basically, they shoot us and then we die.
Then, I guess, we'll have to shoot them first.
Hello and welcome, this is Synoptic, and this is mark number 8 of my Napoleon Total War commentaries. I'm playing as Prussia, my opponent Sterner is playing as Spain, on grassy flatlands, large unit settings, medium cash. Now, in terms of my army, I have virtually identical number in line, light, and cavalry. My opponent, which will be the main topic of this fight, is not using any cav at all. He has 11 line infantry and 5 guerrillas. Now, in large line infantry only or no cav armies are very strong. That is mostly because you can access all of the field, all the both flanks, and which basically makes the entire army a front. So there's no side to attack really. So if they want to break through, they're gonna have to lose a lot of men regardless. And also considering this map, something is seriously wrong with how they coded this. It's probably on purpose, but most light infantry will not hit much considering their range. You'll only really kill a lot when you get really close, which is just even more advantageous for line infantry. I don't know, that's just me. I've just noticed the kill rates are very low for, say, 125 units. But I have one Silesian Schutzen, and I'm taking advantage of the range. So I pulled that one unit out, I pulled back, and then I just started again. Now we're on the left flank. I condensed my light infantry on that side, and I'm going to blast him to his side. He's going to actually turn his army to cater for this flanking army, but this is also where I'm going to strike with my cav. But I'm not going to do direct charges just yet, because it's quite obvious. You can see when you take on any opponent, you're probably not going to want to directly charge your cav into a line on the first go, because that's when it'll be in most control, so you can probably see everything that's happening quite easily. There's no pressure on him yet. The keyword is yet. So I have 4 cavalry, and I'm going to make full use of them soon enough. So I just moved in, and I was ready to pull out the second that line infantry got into a square, because once they press that button, they get the square advantage, regardless of what the creative assembly said about how it only coming up when the square's complete. That's just false. Now notice this, he gets out of the square and then he goes into melee. On its own, that's an okay choice. However, my cav is still there, remember that. So I just went to have hammer and anvil. And I was also going to charge his general. I had a shot there showing his gen and my cavalry behind it, but he moved it. So now I'm charging it alongside another line infantry. Now with the success of that attack, I am also assaulting the other side, and I'm basically going to do a mirror attack. It's going to be virtually identical, pretty much pincer, just like old ETW. So form the square, push everything up. Except that time I did go for the charge because he pulled that square quite late. Now the thing is with Spain, their line infantry has no resistance to morale shock. Now notice this line infantry was at 100 and he didn't pull the square, and it just routed. And there was no fire on that unit, so you could see how far away it was. It was actually quite close to the general, even though it is dead at this point. And now to move on to what I really wanted to talk about, and that was lifting babies. Now checking out the do and the don't. Now you can say what you want, but the baby that's being carried by the head is clearly happier. Now look at that smile, you cannot deny. Now the other one is just confused. Now you can use both motions in throwing a baby quite well, so there's do and do. Now if you want to throw it, you might want to give it a flying apparatus such as this, although it might not help considering the weight. I don't have much faith in this one. Did someone say random? Back to the game. Now, what happened is I'm pincering, attacking both sides, but using cavalry to basically the fullest to maintain squares and keep the other units out of the field. I need to keep his number advantage out of it, and I need to deny him that firepower at pretty much at all times. Now he keeps going to melee. Now he can do this because he has so many line infantry to throw away. Now he sent one against my Silesian shoots and I left it behind. I normally do that when my opponent has no cavalry, so quite safe. Now since this is a mirror attack, this is a mirror reaction. Now he went into melee after he got out of a square, and again I just sent the cavalry that was hovering nearby, and I'm sending that cavalry to the line infantry that was sent against my Silesian shoots in. Now check out the morale bars of most of the Spanish units. It's quite low, even mine. I don't know why that is, but I've only really noticed that in Med. In large, units appear to feel safer. Also, there's no inspiring units other than the generals on the field of both us selective armies. Now I sent that Lancer at it, he's going into square. That doesn't look like a square, but according to the game it is. So all I did was turn around an infantry unit that I was going to send in the fight and turn it back to fire at that unit. Notice the square's all about. I have cavalry still running amok. And that collapsed flank, earlier on, I've just pushed on, and as I pushed onto that flank I could move in the middle, which is another pretty basic move. So most of the tactics here are quite simple, and that's what makes it so strong, is when you keep it simple you don't want to confuse yourself in your decisions. If you want to be too fancy you'll probably screw yourself up, and that won't be too good. So playing to no infantry, no cavalry, the main weakness is obviously virtually no maneuverability. You can kite it actually, if you want to, although that's going to be a very long match. That's a lot of men to shoot, and also considering flatlands and that rubbish mechanic where most long range don't hit anything. A good game to my opponent, and just last recapping. Cavalry to cause squares, not really using them at the start for direct charges because your opponent is probably going to be watching them and is hand ready on the square button, so you just force the squares and just try and keep your cav alive until it's most vital. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.